Bro, Lakeith, how you doing, man?
Hello, good sir. Very well. How are you?
I don't know if you remember, man, but we part of the trio of birthday twins, me, you, and Afion Crockett, August 12th babies.
Oh shit. Wow. That's beautiful. Yes, we're of a rare breed.
Yes, yes, sir. So I remember like my first interview with you was straight out of Compton Carpet, and I was like, I was like, where you straight out of? You like, I'm straight out of Victorville. So I want to take you back to Victorville. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know you was raised by a lot of women and everything else, but what do you think like really pushed you to start that drama course and get into this? Was it a performance that you seen somebody do, or just your creativity? Like what pushed you into the realm of acting in the first place?
Hmm. Well, it was being in a family that allowed me to be performative, which was always my MO. When I was little, I would be like, all right, I got a show, everybody, gather around. And because I had a family that was like, oh, okay, let's see the show. It's Saturday. Everybody get around. Let's see what he's talking about. And then everybody would be eating and doing what they're doing. And then I got to just do whatever it was that I was doing. And I had support. People would laugh, people would, gawk. And I think early on, one of the things I did was like, I would play like a white man or what my rendition or imagination of a white man was at that time. And, I'd sit down at the table, iron it out, put a little napkin, and then, I would speak from a place of privilege and extreme, and do this thing. And then everybody in my family would just be like, yo, this kid is crazy. And I think that it really just gave me fuel when I was young to know that I could have a perspective or I could have something to say, an interpretation of the world that people might listen to. And I think over time, I think just like experiencing the things that I experienced caused me to have layers of depth to me because there were some things that I experienced that I was maybe too young to have been running into. But I think holding on to those things helped me have like ammunition as a performer to call upon when I needed it. And I think early on, I would tap on some of those doors to open up the chasm of experience to me. And to this day, there's certain things I do. While I'm on a personal healing journey, I sometimes also use this as a medium of therapy to be able to work through some of those things within the confines of these characters.
I, well, I've read somewhere that at least on short term 12 that you like embodied this method process of acting. And just with all these characters you played so many. I know just spoke of playing a white man. I remember when you played a West Indian. I think his name was Colin or something in some movie before. And you done Darius. There's so many characters. Has there been any character that's been harder to divorce after the role was over? Or I mean, does method make it you closer to that thing where it's like,
Um, I think that there's a method to the madness, but I think when people hear method acting, they think that has a certain denotation or connotation, which I don't follow any like school of thought. I never really went to school for anything. So my method is, for the most part, is doing whatever I feel is necessary to embody that character. And as I've grown, I realized that there's a sort of like order of operations, right? I mean, you don't want to drive yourself insane trying to play a character. You don't want to hurt yourself. There aren't very many well-established apparatuses for artists who push it too far. If you do, you're kind of just left there on your own. So you find that that isn't really the smart thing to do. So then you just find out better ways to get there without hurting yourself in the process. So I don't do anything extreme, but I do things that I think will help me unearth authenticity in every character. There have been times where I've had to massage my mental and emotional capacity during or after a performance to get me back into a place of synchronicity. But I don't feel like any kind of direct connection to any of my characters that has lingered on. But after all, sometimes when you play these roles, you're putting yourself through various forms of trauma. So in order to do that, you got to know that that's what's happening and then help design ways to decrease that and or be able to therapize it afterwards in order to get back to your normal state. If you're really going hard, sometimes as a result of going hard, there's a side effect. So you just got to know that, and you got to carry yourself with that, especially being black. You know, they sometimes they want to run you through the ringer. And some of them characters you play, they went through a lot, and or might be going through a lot because we go through a lot all over the damn globe. So, and we could feel that in our ancestry and in our blood and in our bones. And so we got to just know, take care of yourself, talk to your body, talk to your spirit. And just like you got to do with real life traumas, sometimes with these characters too, you got to exercise yourself.
So part you said earlier, like part of doing these roles is like a therapy. So this character that you're playing, the Roofman, castmate with Channing Tatum, like how was it fun to play? Did you get to exercise any type of element of you that you didn't get to play in playing this character? Like what about this character allowed you to like let go of something or tap into something that you hadn't done before?
This character was challenging in the sense that which I've sort of started to move in this direction more and more, but this character is a lot more sort of like overtly stern and direct, and you could almost say meaner than I am. I'm really sort of kind and gracious and to my friends and everybody, and I try to give them like space and be like, okay, I'm not really super pushy about a lot of things unless it gets to a point where it has to get really bad for me to be like tough love version kick in for the most part. So it took me some adjusting to be that guy because I'm always more so inclined toward compassion. And I think that, there are different ways you can show that. And so I had to learn like, okay, well, there's another way, there's different, this character would show it in this way. And so his compassion looks a little bit different from mine. And so, acclimating to that, I found to be a little bit challenging. But once I did it, I was grateful for it because I was like, now this is a different flavor. Not many people have seen me like this, and I do have the capacity to go there. So it was nice to be able to stretch and sort of maneuver for a new perspective.
Is that anti zodiac of you? Like, 'cause I know like one of the the elements of being Leo is said to be like that we are hurt from when we feel like we give and it's not reciprocated or it's not appreciated. So like just to be like this cutthroat person, did it feel like kind of like anti to your zodiac in a way, you know?
Very much so. Yes, I am definitely that Leo that, just loves and family, and I want to give to everybody, and I do. And oftentimes I feel like my cup is not really filled up the same way. So to your point, absolutely. And I think it does feel like it was kind of against this rigid astrological connection to who I was. It's just like, sometimes when I was in the scene with Channing afterwards, I'd be like, bro, you good? Like, I want you to know it's love. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, it's cool. Like you could push it even harder if you want to. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, because it was just my natural inclination is to just be like, everything's gonna be fine, but I had to get that out of my head and be like, nah, bro, you gonna go get this money and get the fuck up out of here. So it was a trip.
It was the last question. I always like to ask this like well, I kind of tapped into it earlier, but was there a performer that you seen as a youngin before you started at 14? That was it like a performance or performer that you like that actor is like he's my Michael Jordan for me getting on the basketball court or something. Like that's
Mm.
I wanna emulate this guy. That's why I got there, started dribbling and doing that and stuff. Was there an act or a performance that you seen that you was like, yo, this is a space I want to be in?
No, I didn't really emulate anyone else's style. I always came from the inside and tried to like, focus inward more. However, there are people that I was very impressed by. One of them obviously was Denzel. And I saw him in Training Day and in John Q, and American Gangster. He was always had this like naturalistic approach and flight. I liked all his stuff. But prior to him, actually, was Sidney Poitier. And I saw him, I was like, bro, for him to be that kind of performer in a time where acting has evolved over the millennia. And it used to be real, like kind of slap shit. Hey, you go down to the market over there and go get your thing. And he was in that time, he was just so grounded and had this power and strength like of a real black man. And the shit I know is like, crystallizing us. and he had that early on and was just talking to them people like, nah, this ain't, and I love that presence and that the beauty that he had there. And that was one person that I was really, really impressed by. And I got the chance to meet him before he died, which was amazing. I know to him I was just another, and I was just like at that point I hadn't worked or nothing before, but I seen him in LA, and I was just like, man, I'm a big fan, bro. Like real nice to meet you, and so. That sticks out in my mind because he's somebody who really laid the track down for all of us, for Denzel, for me, for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, you one of our greats, man. I know you got a lot of work to do, but I can already see and all the characters and the person that you are that you're putting into it. So keep doing your thing, man. You've been doing great, but you got even greater things coming ahead, bro. And I'll always be here cheering for
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
All right, man.
Jamaal.